Good evening, and we've got for you tonight an entire program devoted to Lefties Losing It. We always love to feature the ladies of The View on Lefties Losing It. Those joyless, clueless nincompoops always give this segment A+ content.
Okay, so while President Biden, who cares about his grandchildren, is working very hard on this, as you just pointed out, he has record climate investments. Former president, he can't even say it, former Trump, he says he would be a dictator on day one and drill. You know, he couldn't care less about his grandchildren.
So because Donald Trump wants America to have cheap, reliable energy, he is a dictator who doesn't love his grandchildren, and Joe Biden obviously loves his grandchildren, well, the ones he acknowledges anyway. Remember, his crack-addled whore enthusiast son refused to pay child support for his biological child down in Arkansas, and the Biden family refused to acknowledge this little girl, including Joe Biden. Even the pro-Biden New York Times had to scold the president with this piece with the headline, "It's 7 grandkids, Mr. President," because the president kept saying he had 6 grandchildren when he has 7. But the ladies of The View weren't done yet. The hysteria never stops with these miserable Karens.
Nearly half of Republicans now believe Trump that climate change is a hoax. How much more evidence do these people need when they see what goes on with hurricanes, etc.?
Yes, let's not forget the genius crew on The View have hosts who think that the solar eclipse and earthquakes are caused by climate change. And if we have so much climate change, what will that do to the seasons and gender identities?
Did you know, however, there is a gender identity that is linked to the seasons? This is called gender season. And this is a season is an individual who explores their gender identity in relation to a season or all the seasons. So this might be somebody whose gender expression and identity is linked to one season, so for example, winter. Or this might be somebody whose gender identity and expression changes depending on the season.
Now, don't go mocking that ideology or you'll be guilty of a hate crime, for the love of God. Now, let's check in on Gen Z, young adults like these two young ladies who have clearly been failed by the American education system. They've also been failed by their parents and society.
Society need men.
Yes and no.
No.
So why yes and why no for you? And then I'll ask you why you said no.
Well, because in today's society, sometimes you don't need the male to have a baby anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I would say yes and no.
It's not like a moral thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm like we can exist without men only because new research has been discovered of making egg into sperm, so we can reproduce without men. So it's not like a moral thing. It's more of like a if men just died right now, could we survive? Yes, because of the new research that they're doing. They it's possible for lesbians to have a baby
without a male sperm.
Right.
Yeah, because they turned it into, a sperm.
No. That's not how any of this works, ladies. You cannot just turn an egg into a sperm and inseminate yourselves. We're not earthworms. Those two don't understand how babies are made, but I bet they could name 200 different genders for you. The LGBTQIA+++ ideology is being pushed on children much younger than that under the banner of diversity and inclusion. And whatever nonsense they use to justify drag queen story time for toddlers, but some kids are fighting back. These school children from a middle school in Utah staged a protest because they say the principal isn't doing enough to protect them from furries. These are the kids who identify as cats and dogs and other animals, and apparently they're in the habit of biting and scratching.
They bite people. They will bite ankles.
How do they bite your ankle? Why would they?
They walk on all fours, run down the hall, and bite. Scratch people. They'll sniff your shoes and then bite you. They scratch people. They bite people. Principal doesn't make them get in trouble. Yeah. All the principal says is just be kind, be nice, be nice. And then...
What's the point of dressing up like a furry?
It's just, I don't know. They think they're so cool that they want to get a lot of attention. I think they want attention. So people can come at them and just look at them and think that they're so cool.
Okay.
Also,
Are you guys going to be in trouble for walking out of school today?
No, maybe. If we go back on school grounds, we will get in trouble. Hopefully not. We're standing for what's right. We're standing for what the furries are wrong. This is wrong. They should not be doing this.
Do your parents know you guys are out here?
Yes.
Okay.
These poor kids are holding up signs saying they just want to learn. These kids say they are not only being terrorised by these furries pretending to be a variety of animals, but they also complain about double standards. They say they're not allowed to wear masks even for Halloween, but these furries are wearing masks to school every day. And they can't just say anything they want to the furries, but the furries have free rein to intimidate the other students.
We're not allowed to look at them, go near them within like a 10-feet circle. Otherwise, the teachers will come and get mad at us.
Why do you think the principal hasn't put a stop to this?
Because her daughter is a furry and she supports it. And if we get bit or something, they get mad at us.
We get suspended, not them. Even if they weren't us to do anything, we get suspended.
There's a petition against the furries. It's already got 1,800 signatures. There was 1,800 signatures late last week. But the school district says these kids are just making up stuff. Their claims are unfounded. There is no scratching and biting and other tomfoolery, and that we expect all students to be respectful towards each other while we are here at school. Nice sentiment, but this is the same school district that last year gave students disgusting insects to eat as part of an English assignment on climate change, claiming it would save the environment. So, yeah, I'll just reserve my judgment there. Let's hear from a member of the furry community. Strudel is her name, and she's not happy with the kids damaging the good standing of the furry community.
You know, the next generation kind of muddy our name and not represent it very well. It is kind of disappointing.
Hilarious. And here is more indoctrination. Here is a video 4th graders were shown in Georgia that is supposed to show the importance of tolerance for dogs that think they're cats.
I like to clean my paws like this. And you clean your face too. Yeah. Or we could practice purring like this.
Purring?
Yeah. And we could try to meow. What? Meow, meow, meow. Like that. It's great fun. You should try it.
Why not?
Yeah, let's go.
Excuse me, would you?
And of course, the dog that is troubled by this canine craziness is soon set straight.
He thinks he's a cat.
He thinks he's a cat?
Yeah. He's over there talking about yarn, purring, woof, and licking.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
Well, I think you should talk to him.
About what?
Well, about being more like a dog.
Gulliver, you're really struggling with this.
It's weird.
It's not weird, just different. I couldn't ask Barry to change who he is. That would make him really sad.
Now, just consider how backward this all is. Remember when we were growing up and we were told gender stereotypes were bad, they were harmful? Now, gender stereotypes are science. If you're a boy who likes pink and dolls and ballet, then you must be a girl. You can't just be a boy who likes the colour pink, dolls and ballet. Give me a break. I do like to focus on the antics of the lunatic fringe and how their antics are being normalised in blue states, but We've got our own lefties right here in Australia. We're not immune from this phenomenon, even in our parliament, and they're not all Greens or from Labor's socialist left faction. Take a look at Senator Jackie Lambie, who not only wants greater censorship, but she wants to throw Elon Musk in jail if he doesn't comply.
Elon Musk has no social conscience or conscience whatsoever. I don't know, whatever Elon Musk is on, it says that that's okay to continue to air that is absolutely disgusting behaviour. And quite frankly, the bloke should be jailed. And the sooner that we can bring rules in or do something about this sort of game playing with our social media, the better off we're going to be. But quite frankly, the power that man has, because of that platform that he's on, it's got to stop. It has absolutely got to stop.
What? That woman is a senator in the Australian Parliament. And if you thought that was just an isolated incident, a throwaway remark she regrets and has apologised for, well, think again. Here she is on Sky News saying Elon Musk, the greatest modern crusader we have for free speech, should be behind bars and throw away the keys.
So when it comes to the tech billionaire, like I've already said, I think he's a social media knob with no social conscience. He has absolutely no social conscience. Someone like that should be in jail and the key be thrown away. That bloke should not have a right to be out there on his own ideology platform and creating hatred.
In jail for promoting his ideology? What would that be, Jackie? Free speech, perhaps? You accuse him of promoting hatred. I'd argue politicians like you promote and inspire far more hatred than the man who's copying unhinged hatred for spending billions of his own money to promote free expression. But we really shouldn't be surprised by Tasmanian Senator Jackie Lambie. She has form as a lefty losing it.
This bill says the freedom of unvaccinated is more important than the freedom of the vaccinated. Really? It says that 9 in 10 Australian adults who have gone out and got the jab don't get a choice themselves. That we don't have a choice to keep COVID out of our work sites, our aged care homes, our pubs, our cafes, our houses, away from our kids. It says some people should be allowed to make consequence-free decisions, that some people should be able to yell fire in a crowded room and get away with it scot-free. I don't think so. Not on my watch. Here's the thing, being held accountable for your own actions isn't called discrimination. It's called being, you wouldn't believe it, a goddamn bloody adult. That's right as being an adult.
Yes, she's a senator in the Australian Parliament. Apparently, if you don't support mandated COVID jabs, you're not an adult. That's what that meltdown was about. It was all in reaction to One Nation, which had introduced a bill intended to end coronavirus vaccine mandates. But the Tasmanian wasn't done yet. When this lefty loses it, she really loses it.
We don't have lockdowns and border restrictions because state premiers love discrimination. That's rubbish. We have them because state premiers don't want people dying, because they don't want to be playing Russian roulette with their own people's lives. That's why they're doing it. That is why they're doing it. One Nation is the champion for the right for unvaccinated, COVID-carrying mainlanders to come to Tasmania and create an outbreak. I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not going to happen under my watch, and I doubt very much if it's going to happen under Premier Gutwin's watch.
Yes, those crippling, illiberal, unscientific lockdowns and border closures that stopped Australians crossing state borders even was all about keeping us safe. I hope you're all grateful, and it worked so beautifully, except, for all the excess deaths we're seeing, all the mental health harms, the economic mayhem. It was all worth it. Let's go back to that epic rant here. Jackie wants you to know she really, really cares about your safety.
And we need to do everything we possibly can to keep ourselves safe, our kids safe, our grandchildren safe, and our friends and family. That's what we need to do. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made.
Sometimes sacrifices have to be made, and now Jackie wants you to sacrifice your free speech to keep us safe. She wants to sacrifice your ability to know and see what is happening. Thanks a lot, Tasmania. We're being mocked around the world thanks to that woman. This week she has declared that she's leaving X. What a brave heroine she is. She's leading by example.
But I say this to everybody else. I'll be switching off X today. I'll be doing that before I get to the airport this afternoon. And I suggest that the other 226, there's 227 members of parliament do the same thing and show them that you mean business. Because when you want to lead by example, it has to happen from here. It has to happen from here. So start switching off X. Start throwing it back at him.
We've got to start from here. The delusion there is stunning. Let's check in now with those anti-Israeli protests at Columbia University. The youngest and brightest are expressing their angst at what they claim is a genocide through silent dance. Oh, you gotta laugh. But remember when it was comics that made us laugh? Remember when comedians were actually funny? I bet this guy doesn't.
Some of my best friends identify as members of the cisgender and heterosexual community. And I know that you guys are going through a lot right now. That's why every morning during my sun salutation, I take a 15-second breath to acknowledge how difficult it must be for straight people to remember how to use they, them pronouns for us.
About as funny as an ingrown toenail. Well, there are still comics around who are very funny, and we've got plenty of them right here in Australia, including this duo, simply called Super Wog.
They went that way.
Okay, male or female?
Neither. They, them.
What?
That's their pronoun.
Okay, so how many were there?
Oh my God, one, you idiot. They're non-binary.
So does non-binary have a hole or a pole? We just need to clarify.
They who? Who them? Where I? Who's who? Who's who? They, them, or who?
We're having pronoun trouble again.
Brilliant. Now to Google, which yesterday sacked more workers that had participated in protests. The lefty tech giant with a virtual monopoly is dealing with a problem of its own making. Its radical left employees are losing it in the workplace, staging protests in New York and California because of an AI deal Google has with the Israeli government.
Google, you can't hide.
Google, you can't hide.
We charge you with genocide.
We charge you with genocide.
Google, you can't hide.
Google, you can't hide.
You are funding genocide.
You are funding genocide.
These protesters really do enjoy chants, don't they? They just love mindlessly repeating whatever someone yells out. And Oscar-winning actress and lefty losing it Susan Sarandon proved that you can yell out just about anything and they'll chant it back at you.
Especially in a place of education.
Especially in a place of education.
And supposedly higher thought.
And supposedly higher thought.
To be attacked.
To be attacked.
With racism.
With racism.
And intolerance.
And intolerance.
Is not acceptable.
Is not acceptable.
There are many, many people.
There are many, many people.
That's unintentionally hilarious, I've got to say. But I mean, how long could this go on?
People who are old and afraid.
People who are old and afraid.
Are looking to you.
Are looking to you.
And your voices.
And your voices.
And your organization.
And your organization.
And your tenacity.
And your tenacity.
And your kindness.
And your kindness.
To make a difference in this situation.
To make a difference in this situation.
You give me hope.
You give me hope.
To me and so many people.
To me and so many people.
And in the end, the truth will win.
And in the end, the truth will win.
It's important at this point.
It's important at this point.
That's about all I can take, but it actually went on even longer than that. It really did. Now to a lefty who is semi-regularly sensible in calling out the excesses of his mob, but let's be honest, Bill Maher normally wins enormous praise, including from me, for saying what Conservatives have been saying for years. And at the end of the day, he's still going to vote for the likes of Joe Biden and Gavin Newsom, who are ushering in the lunacy that he complains about. But good on him, I guess, for saying this.
Maybe it's time to admit that sometimes Drag Queen Story Hour is more for the Queen than the kids. Sure, kids love a clown, but does the clown have to have tits? And when I see a 5-year-old tipping at a bar under a sign that says it's not going to lick itself, do I have to pretend that's cool in order to keep my liberal ID card? Sorry, I can't do that. If you want kids to be more tolerant, why not have handicapped people read them stories? Kids are more likely to encounter disabled people than drag queens in life.
Bill, bless you, but how can you support the biggest supporters of this ideology? It's one thing to be batshit crazy, but you know better, and you still support Biden and Newsom and so many others like them. President Biden has been at it again. He's pulled another Ron Burgundy, reading everything in the auto cue, including instructions like pause.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years, pause. 4 more years, pause. 4 more years.
No, Joe, you don't read out the instructions, but look at the official White House transcript of that speech where they claim what he said was inaudible. We all heard it. He said, pause.
4 more years, pause. 4 more years.
And that wasn't the only Biden gaffe.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
Oh, I think he's well and truly proved it by now, Joe. You cannot be trusted. Now to a drag queen who is indoctrinating young children, not just about trans activism, but pro-Palestinian causes. I have no idea how this is real.
Today what we're going to do is we're going to shout, Free Palestine. Can I hear that? Free Palestine! If you're a drag queen and you know it, shout, Free Palestine! If you're a drag queen and you know it and you really want to show it, you're a drag queen and you know it, shout, Free Palestine! Excellent.
Just one bit of advice for that drag queen. Do not try that in Palestine, Gaza or the West Bank, because you would not last 5 minutes. And that advice goes to this next dude as well.
Of the United States. I stand in deep solidarity and grief with everyone here as we feel in our bodies the layered, ongoing colonial violences of the transatlantic slave trade and multiple indigenous genocides and dispossessions that has not only founded this country, but has also made Yale University and many other universities and colleges possible as a capitalist necropolitical machine.
I do wonder whether they know why they're pro-Palestinian activists, because these Ivy League students have no idea.
The main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either. I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support. So I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous.
Yeah, you need a lot more education than a college charging $70,000 US a year can impart. I'll have to speak to Amy Horowitz about that later in the program. Well, they may not be learning any critical thinking skills or any pertinent facts at these universities, but look at what they are learning. These students protesting via the medium of dance and strings. course, they're all in masks outdoors in 2024. That should not surprise any of us. Now, earlier this week, we brought you footage of Alec Baldwin dealing with a pro-Palestinian activist, and today, that activist who calls herself Crackhead Barney is making news around the world because, well, of this appearance on Piers Morgan's program. And just a warning, this clip may shock you.
My diaper today for you, Pierce. Do you like it?
Do you want to sit down?
Do you see the damage that Alec did to me? Do you see the damage? Look at my arm.
No, you weren't maimed by Alec Baldwin on Monday, were you?
I was maimed.
No, you
My
weren't.
hand is broken. My neck is broken.
No, it's not.
My legs. Look at my legs. Don't do this to me, Pierce. It's too early in the morning, Pierce. Pierce, it's too early.
I wish I could say it ended there, but it didn't.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up for you.
I absolutely believe that Palestine should be free. Yes.
Oh, okay. And how are we going to do that, Pierce? Give us the answers, Pierce Morgan. Alec Baldwin. Look at me. Pierce, honestly. Pierce, look at my body. Look at